Board is at the
Yes. Yes.
All right, wonderful. All right, let me just introduce. So, Ranley, this is Molly. Molly is a student at University of Florida. I am Dave Barron. I am the president of College Basketball Times. Let me tell you a little bit about College Basketball Times. All right, so we are a nonprofit. We aspire to do a couple of good things. Well, maybe more than a couple of good things, but right now we're trying for two. One is to help students like Molly who want to get into journalism. And so we provide them internship with advice and editing from very good editors. We give them the opportunity to get published and to write about wonderful people like you. And so the other good thing is we are trying to cover all aspects of college basketball. We're covering Div 1, Div 2, Div 3, NAI, JUCO, and wheelchair basketball. And we are covering men and women equally. So I think a couple of those things might appeal to you. So what is difficult, we have found, it's not difficult to find players who play like Div 3 or Div 2 or NAIA women with stories that haven't been told or unique stories. There's a lot of stories out there. When it comes to wheelchair, though, everybody has a different story, but there's a similarity to it. Everybody's had a big obstacle that they've had to try to overcome. And what I've learned, even going back to the first story we did on wheelchair, is that though these athletes are mostly okay speaking about that, they'd much prefer that in addition to that, there be a focus on their athleticism, on the game. They would like wheelchair basketball not just to be, hey, look what this person has overcome. Every story can't be about that. I get that. So we're in a bind when it comes to this. Why are we in a bind? Because when people come to these stories and read the stories, they want that stuff about what happened to this person. But the players would rather talk about, hey, I run a hell of a pick and roll. I could throw a hook shot. I got 12 rebounds last night. That kind of stuff. So we're trying to get to that. We want to get to the point where we're covering games and we're talking about rebounds. So part of what Molly does is she writes articles in addition to these stories. There's supposed to be recaps on what's going on, either with a team, within a whole team, or a whole the whole division of wheelchair basketball. So we're trying to get there. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it sounds very nice.
Why don't you, before Molly starts hitting you, Molly's going to ask you questions. I'm going to jump in with stupid things and funny things to say. By the way, this is all going to be pretty laid back. This isn't a heavy hitting interview asking you all, hey, how come you didn't pass last night instead of taking the shot? How come you didn't, stop that person? What were you doing when you were supposed to be getting a rebound? That's not what, this is going to be fun. We're even going to play a little game at the end, which should hopefully make you laugh. But why don't you tell us how you would like wheelchair basketball, specifically women's wheelchair basketball, to be covered? So we want to do it right. We want to be part of the impetus to there's only 6 wheelchair women's teams right now. 6. Mm-hmm. That's arguably deplorable. There should be many, many, many more. We'd like to be part of that. We'd like, wheelchair basketball to be followed just like all the other sports are. And it should be, if not more. I have this vision in my head, which is crazy, but crazy is what gets things done sometimes. Is that maybe there's the Final Four and CBS is showing it. And maybe between the 2 games, they show the men's and women's final game of wheelchair. That would be pretty awesome. I don't know why they couldn't do that, but who knows? Maybe we'll get there. That's a hope. So you tell me, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What can we do better? How would you like wheelchair covered? And then I hand it over to Molly.
Okay. Well, it's all a process, and it's a slow process it's steadily getting better, but it just really comes down to universities um, allowing it. First thing, I think it needs to be like universities accepting it as a collegiate sport, because technically we're not affiliated with the university or under athletics. We are separate in like funding and just what we're able to do. We have to kind of like raise our money. We might get a little bit from the school, but it's no kind of like recognition. Like we play and practice at the Arc, so we don't get to play at the State Farm Center where the gymnastics and basketball the players do. We're just not really like kind of recognized in that way. I mean, so that would be like a good first step. But the universities where these programs are already established, seeing more and being more affiliated with the programs, and that's on the women and the men's side. Because that's kind of like a broad thing across all of the universities right now with wheelchair sports or activities. I mean, some people have, wheelchair basketball, and then some have like tennis, but still nothing is said about the adaptive sport and, it being equal to the other collegiate sports on the thing. And I think another big issue that comes with all that is it's really just funding. I mean, it'd be nice, and that's the hopes, slowly year by year, like teams kind of start and emerge, but it's just keeping it going. Like it's expensive, to get chairs and to find those people that want to come play and that want to be student athletes, because you can't forget about this, being a student part as well, because that's huge. You got to get accepted to the university first, and then it's athletics. But I think sometimes that gets a little shifted. Like people don't think that we're like doing the same things, but we are. Like we're still going to class. We're still doing classes on the road when we're competing. So it's just being equal in that sense first. It's kind of baby steps. And like I said, I think it's slowly happening, but it's just the process of everything right now of just making things equal in that sense. So I don't really know if like that would probably be my suggestion of like the starting point of just being like more recognized by the university you're affiliated with.
Themselves.
Yeah.
To treat wheelchair equally. Yeah. And hopefully maybe if we start giving it the publicity it deserves or being a part of that, the university will give it its own recognition that it deserves, or its own place within the athletic department that it deserves.
Yeah. Cause like, we did a demo here at halftime of one of the men's games. So that was nice. That gets it out there to the students that, attend here. But still it'd be nice, on the Jumbotron that they're still showing, hey, there might be a game, there's a tournament this weekend, just promoting it more, because we only have one tournament here a year. So that makes it more difficult for people to come see, because we're always traveling out. We're not really here playing for the community itself to see us. So that's another thing, is just getting more home games and get people to come here to have competitive tournaments.
If there were more teams,
exactly.
Have more. If there were, say, 10 teams in Illinois, then you could have more home games. Yeah. We're trying. So we're a nonprofit. we get donations, not a lot just yet, but amongst our goals is to try to help with the cost of those wheelchairs. Those things are $4,000 to $5,000 a piece. That's not cheap. So that's amongst our goals. All right, let me hand this off to Molly. She'll ask a couple questions. I'll say something stupid. We'll go back and forth. And then at the end, we're going to play a game called How Well Does Ranley Know Ranley? We are going to ask you some questions about yourself. You're going to give your answers, and then I'm going to tell you why you're wrong.
Okay.
So, all right, Molly, go ahead.
Okay. So I watched like I guess like a little documentary video about you, and heard that you started playing basketball in 8th grade, but you played softball since you were 5. So how did you decide to like make that change, and like how'd you get involved in basketball?
Well, so all through high school, I did both. Softball. I started off with softball, and then I added on basketball. I did both sports because I'm from a 2A, really small town school, so not that many students to actually play. So I did both, and I think it was my second year with basketball. That's really, I just fell in love with it. My love was softball. And then the more that I got going basketball, it was just even more, just higher and higher. I just kept, having that love and that passion for it. And it was one of those big things after my accident that really helped me overcome, I guess, the changes of my life that dramatically just happened like in snap of the fingers. So that even more, drove me and was my, I guess my safety net, honestly, just having that outlet and being able to get affiliated with the team. Because I would have never thought that I would, attend college and then transfer to another college to go to grad school. Like it's been a journey that I've been on so far. Don't really know how far in depth you'd like for me to go in that, but I can.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Keep going.
Let's take back a step though. Can you tell us what kind of player were you during your able-bodied days? Were you a bruiser? Were you a point guard? Were you a three-point shooter?
I was a little bit of a guard, I would assume. More so guard. I was not a three-point shooter, but I could bring the ball down, or I could be one to kind of post up. Whatever I needed to do in the time was kind of what I did. And it's kind of funny too, transferring that, it helps having that background knowledge of actual just basketball in general, because it's the same concepts, just a little bit different wheelchair basketball. So I was able to adapt pretty well with that. And still with how I played in high school, being like an outside shooter, the elbow was my sweet spot, but still now here, it just all transferred over. So I can still bring the ball down. I can still, kind of post up, be somebody behind a pick and just, hit shots from the outside. That's kind of my sweet spot. It's my go-to. And I guess it's probably just because that's what I had in high school, and I just kind of stuck with it. I guess it's just kind of there,
Gotcha.
ingrained in me.
Yeah. All right, Molly, go ahead. I'll bring you back.
And then were you in high school when your accident happened, or were you already outside of high school? Like, were you looking at schools to go to?
Yeah, so I went all through high school. I graduated. I graduated in May. So that was in 13. So pretty much a year later, because I started classes at a community college. So did 2 semesters, did fall and spring. And then the summer of that in 2014, it was August the 9th. I had an ATV accident, and that was when I got paralyzed. So I'm a T9 complete, so I have no feeling below the waist. Once that happened, I wasn't really sure. I had a really good support system, so I never really got down to the dumps. I was very lucky in that sense to not really go into the depression state. I had friends and family that really kept me going, kept me active. And one of my good friends, her dad worked at Auburn University with the facilities there, and he had saw wheelchair basketball being played, and they all knew how much I love basketball and whatnot. So I got in connections with them. They let me come up there.
What was the friend's name?
Do what?
What was the friend's name?
Did not remember her dad's name, but her name is Kelsey Locke.
Oh, so it was Kelsey Locke who connected you to somebody in Auburn.
Yeah, her dad helped with the connection. So we all went up there for a practice, and they let me get in a chair and push around, and I was hooked from that instance. Just going from my day chair, which I was just learning to push, because this is pretty much 6 months after my accident. I was trying this because I was back working 6 months after my accident, and I went and tried that out and fell in love. So they let me kind of pretty much walk on in a sense to their program. They were a D3 team at the time, and I stayed with them, played with them as much as I could. And in the process of that, they were getting another coach. Rob Taylor was coming in at Auburn, and we started emerging into a collegiate team. So I stayed on with that. And that was a men's team. So I was only female on a men's team for 4 years, got my undergrad at Auburn. And then recently just graduated last May and transferred here to do grad school at Illinois. And I'm on a women's team finally. So I am in love with playing with all women. Though I love my guys, but it's a whole nother aspect of basketball when you move to a women's side. it's a little bit different. Still, it's the same thing in, men's stand up. Men and women are totally different aspects of the game. And it's the same thing transfers with wheelchair basketball as well.
Give me a couple differences.
It's more team oriented. You're gonna get way more ball swings. You're gonna get way more people. You're gonna get touches. People are gonna get shots. You're gonna use each other more. You're not really gonna come down and throw up the first shot. You're gonna really work to get in and get somebody the best look possible for the team. That would probably be the biggest thing that I see, and just
As a woman.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's the same kind of aspect of team feeling, but the sense of more connectiveness, like on the court. So like you're connected off the court, but on the court, you're kind of reading each other's mind. You're reading each other's moves more. Because like with the guys, like we were very connected, like family oriented group, like off the court. But sometimes when we got on the court, we didn't know what we were wanting to do. You didn't really know what one person was going to do and how you were going to react to that. It wasn't just quite in sync. I would say that's probably one of the big things.
So there's greater, call it in syncness with the women.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nothing sexist about that. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean, I think we all know that.
Yeah. All right. All right. All right. Let's go back. Who got you into sports? There had to be somebody. Was there a sibling, dad, mom? Somebody had to push you in that direction to start with?
Yeah, I guess it had to be my parents, because I mean, I started with t-ball and just stayed with it all through. I really didn't get into basketball until eighth grade. So that's kind of unique.
Were you both your parents athletes, or did they just want you to do something? Or
they were athletes in a sense, but I don't think they really played for their schools. I know my mom and dad, they did like co-ed softball and stuff, like after they were older, the
Gotcha.
leagues they have, but I don't think that they really did it in high school. I think of the family, I was probably the more, I guess, on the athletic sense of multiple sports throughout the year. So
yeah. All right, Molly, take it away.
Okay. So most people, when they get like severely injured, they quit doing like basically a lot of things like sports or work or whatever. Why did you want to keep, like, what motivated you to keep going and keep playing?
I think it's just the drive. I just have such a drive and such a love for the game. And I mean, my goal is to hopefully make a national team one year. I mean, or keep making one. Like my goal is to hopefully attend like a Paralympics.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of continuing to just push myself and just see the small improvements. Like, yeah, like I've been playing for 5 years at this point, but there's still so much that I learn each day. And just kind of adds and adds and adds. There's never like you get to that level and you're done. Like there's just so much you can continue learning. And I think it's just that for me, like learning and the team cohesion, I guess, like, building at the others, helping the others, find their love, find their game, find what they're like wanting to do with it, just pushing others to get better, which makes me want to get better as, I'm kind of doing that.
Where does that come from? Where does that trait come from? You want to get better, so you have drive, but on top of that, you are trying to make others better.
Yeah.
So we're sort of giving your parents a little bit of credit for getting you into athletics. Do they deserve credit for the drive, or who gets that? Where does that come from?
Oh, absolutely. Because they've always pushed me, because even myself, like I was nervous about going to Auburn University, and I was hella nervous about moving 11 hours away from home. First time ever being that far away from home. to a new school, and they were like, it's what you want to do, it's what you love. Like, don't lose this opportunity. Like, you only get one chance. I'm like, you're right. So in the midst of me pushing myself, I still have those insecurities of like getting out of my comfort zone. So they help kind of give me that little push of, this is what you want. You've made these goals, just do it. And I'm like, okay, you're right. So it's been the best decision I've made to, attend grad school here, to finally play on a women's team, to just, there's such a huge community within wheelchair basketball in itself. And it's just finding all those other connections. Like, you just meet other people, you make these connections, and it's just something you never lose. And you just know, like, if you ever need something, you just call that person, message them, like, they're going to be there, they're going to help you. Just building those connections and being a part of something that's bigger than yourself. That's just what I like to be.
Tell you, the wheelchair community has been over the top appreciative of our efforts, and they have all been great people. Everybody that we have spoken to, everybody that we've featured, they've just been like your coach. Your coach from Auburn a month or so ago. We did a story on him. They've been great. There's one woman from Arizona. She will make sure that she likes every single Instagram post that we put up, no matter what. She's like one of the first ones every time. Just that community, you couldn't have said it better. They are just great, great people.
Mhm.
All different personalities, just across but they're just have a goodness through them. Throughout, at least that's what I found. All right, Molly, go ahead.
And so as the only woman that has played in men's college wheelchair, like the division, you're like breaking down barriers and showing that women can play with men and be at that same level. Well, how does that feel to be basically like an inspiration to other girls?
Well, I mean, I loved it. I really didn't see it as the kind of inspiration for others. It was more of a kind of coming together, because when I first started, and the guys would see me, like, they'd leave me, they're like, oh, we ain't got to worry about her, but then it's just like, boom, in your face, like buckets. And you just have all the girls there, just like, yeah, like they're just got my back, so that was just one of the great things. And then of course everybody was always asking me, like, why don't you play on a women's team? I'm like, honestly, I didn't know about women's basketball until like I was already too far into this, because I was like, I would totally transfer, but I literally have one semester left, and there's no sense in me transferring in the midst of that. And I just got so lucky with this opportunity to come here and do grad school and play for 2 years to finish out my eligibility. It's so nice.
Give me a funny story of when you were on the Auburn team. Some funny story about you and the team. Maybe it was a practice, maybe it was at a tournament. Give me maybe it's just hanging out at the hotel or wherever you guys stay. Give me a funny story.
I don't really know like funny stories. I will say that we always had interesting times in the weight room. It would usually end up being like karaoke. We would like have different genres going, and somebody picked this or whatever, and we'd all just kind of group up and just like sing together while we're just like lifting weights, and we're just like getting it. That was one of the good times. I enjoyed that so much. Just something different,
weightlifting. That's
just we'll have country music, we'll have like slower songs, but we don't care. We're just like jamming and singing with each other. That was fun at Auburn.
Gotcha.
I saw.
All right. Go ahead, Molly.
Oh, sorry. I saw that you after your accident you were able to still like drive, and you have a Jeep Wrangler. Do you have it in Illinois, or is it at home?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's my baby. It goes everywhere with me.
And then like, why did you decide to go back to being able like to drive? And did you have the car before the accident, or did you get it after and it got like you made it accommodating for you?
Well, funny story is so I had a car. I had a Jeep when I was 16. Loved a Jeep. Like, it was my favorite thing. Then I messed up and I
got
do
a
it.
Jeep. I'm Only good people drive Jeeps.
I have a Jeep too.
There
So
you
here
go.
we go. See, no wonder we're like so like in sync. Yeah, I messed up and I sold it and I got a car. Worst decision of my life. Hated it, hated it, hated it. And I guess it was after that pretty much I had my accident and we got rid of the car. We ended up trading it in on the Jeep. Granted, like, so my accident was in August. This is December. This is getting close to my birthday. We just go to the dealership. I see the Jeep. I'm like, I want a black Jeep. That's what I want. We go in and we end up trading that Altima in on the Jeep. And I couldn't even drive it for a few months. Like my mom was having to drive me around everywhere because it wasn't assessed, like hadn't had hand controls in it yet. So, I mean, I bought a Jeep, had never even drove it before. Like my mom and my dad and my brother were all driving my brand new ride that I just got, you know, I'm paying for it and I'm not even able to drive it. So I was like, man, this is like great. So then I finally was able to get the hand controls put in and it was like freedom. Like, you know, like that's the best way I can say it. Like, it's just feeling like you're not confined. Like I can go anywhere I want to at this point. I can unload and go, I can go off-road. I can go anywhere I want to. It was a sense of freedom. And that was what allowed me to even push farther of like going back to work. The idea of going to college, I could literally do it at any point or go anywhere I wanted to. It was, oh, I love my Jeep. I could just talk about it forever.
The big question is, do you wave? Are you a waver?
Oh, I am a waiver.
There
Yeah.
you go. There you go.
Yep.
That's funny.
All right, go ahead, Molly.
And then when you said you transferred to Illinois after you graduated from Auburn, did you look into any other schools or did you only know you wanted to go to Illinois?
There were other schools that had offers for in a sense. But I was just set on Illinois. I'd watched them over the years that I was at Auburn at tournaments, and I saw Steph and her coaching style, and you know how it was just, I don't know, it just seemed such like a right feeling. Like it was just that intuition of like, this is what I need to do. Like there's no other option. Like I'm gonna go. Because it was at the point of, I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to get like a scholarship or not, but I was like, I'm going to go, we'll figure it out along the way. Like this, the best move for me to do. Then I finally got here and I was just so glad that I went with my gut feeling of like, this is where I need to go. This is where I'll fit in the most. And it's been the best. The girls are great. We connect well on and off the court and just a sense of togetherness all together with the coach included. Like it's great. I don't even really know how to describe it because it's so, I don't know, family oriented in a way. I know that's like a typical thing people say, you know, it's a family feeling, but for me, it's like being able to move 10, 11 hours away from home and feel as comfortable as I did the first day I got here. Was not expecting that at all. It was insane.
Tell me about Coach.
Coach, oh, Steph, love Steph. She is amazing. She's a driver, she's a pusher, and she wants the best for everyone. She's gonna push you in ways that you're not used to being pushed, and in the sense you're gonna gain the knowledge and the skill that you need to perform at your best and overall perform well as a team. We really, you know, come together and we kind of push the team aspect of, you know, we need everybody. Everybody brings something different, something special to the team, and that's what we need to be complete. Like nobody's going to be the same. We all bring different aspects, and we really kind of hone in on that, and it's kind of how we push forward.
Gotcha.
And then
Go ahead, Mama.
can you describe your team, like Illinois' team dynamic on and off the court?
Yeah. So our team dynamic, like in what sense do you want it?
Like this, how, like, sorry, I don't, so like off the court, are you able, like, do you guys all hang out? Like the sense of like, you said family, but like, what do you guys do off the court? And then like on the court, does that all come together when you're playing?
So We're pretty close. We kind of have like different groups of people that kind of hang out on the weekend. We don't kind of all hang out all together, not just yet. That's something that I would like to get, in the future, like all of us hang out a little bit more, maybe meet a couple of times, like a month. Just to, because just a firm believer of like, if you have a good relationship off the court, you're going to have a great relationship on the court. You're just going to know each other better in that sense. But yeah, like we have a group meeting that we talk through pretty much every day. Like people will send, GIFs and stuff and funny things. We kind of communicate that way. And then we meet in we have small groups always after practice. So that's like another time for us to kind of meet and like work with each other. And then we have lift. So we always connect in the gym as well. Different aspects. But yeah, like it's kind of like different groups, but then we always come together and it just works for us in that sense.
And then, so like your group of like friends on the team, what do you guys do like for fun? Like, what do you guys do on the weekends? What do you do while you hang out?
Well, before like the kind of spike in COVID, we would go out to like local, like, I guess you call it like a bar, but it's really like not like a bar. It's just like a restaurant kind of thing.
Mhm.
But you go out there some. But now with COVID and with the scare of like just the season being cut off again, we've kind of stayed within our bubbles. So with the group that I hang out with, they usually come over to my apartment and we just hang out and like watch TV or play games. We're kind of just trying to stay within our bubble of the team right now, just to make sure we make it to nationals and everybody's healthy. That's one big thing we've been, with the COVID situation. We really push of, getting tested regularly, making sure that we're doing what we need to do to stay healthy so that we can compete at our best and have everyone. So it's been a little, but like once the season's over, I'm sure we'll be able to like get out more. Like I'm anxious, like I want to go out, like I want to like see other people, see like a band or something, like just go out and just have fun, let loose.
You like to see?
Well, I haven't found any live music here yet, which is interesting. Me being from Alabama, like I'm one of those, like I like to go hear live music on Friday and Saturday, but hopefully I'll find one eventually. So I just got to search a little harder. I'm not very big on the search yet.
Gotcha. So Illinois is feeling more like home, is what you're saying. What do you miss about home, though?
Just miss my parents. I'm very, very close with my parents and my siblings, and
How many
just
siblings
miss like
do you have?
seeing them every day coming home or like hanging out on the weekends in the shop, just working on things. That's the reason I'm kind of excited because we're going to Tuscaloosa this week. So we'll be in Alabama. My family's coming up, so I'll be able to see them. So I'm like super excited to play and see my family because it's been since, I guess,
They're gonna
Christmas
come
since I've
see you
seen them.
play at Alabama.
Yep. So yeah, we'll be at Tuscaloosa. We play Friday and Saturday. So
Gotcha. So
yeah,
you mentioned siblings. How many siblings do you have?
just two. I have an older brother, and he's just turned 30, I believe. I'm
Okay.
27, and my younger brother is 21.
So you are the middle child, but the only girl.
That's it.
How spoiled was Ranley?
Oh, well, my little brother says that I am daddy's little princess. So I will say me and my dad are very close, but I don't like the princess statement, but I mean, he's not wrong. And, if I go to my dad, he's going to be like, okay, like whatever you need. Okay. So, yeah, we're just we're very close. And that's one thing I love about it. And I just miss him so much. Like, it's just being so far away, like FaceTime only works for so long,
Yeah.
It'll be
And
good to
what
actually touch
shop?
them.
Well, what's the shop?
The shot.
You shop. Like you say, they get home from the shop, or they. did
Oh,
I
the
say that
shop.
wrong?
Yeah. So my dad, he's actually fixed up like a 34 Ford. So he done like all the restoration on it. So like I would help him with that. And it's right there up from our house. It's not our Lulu can just push
So
right
is your
there.
dad a mechanic? Is he fixed, or is
He's a welder. He's like runs a small shop. in a little small, like little town not
Oh,
far
wow.
from my place. So
And with that, he works on automobiles or other things as well, or?
that's just his like free time, like pretty much
Oh.
leisure time. That's what he does. He's always in the shop, just listening to music, working on tinkering with something, you know.
So the
So I
shop
would
is
always
like
be there.
part of your home, or part of I gotcha.
Mhm. Yeah, you literally drive past it. Like you come to the driveway, you got the shop, then you got the house. So it's just
And that's where dad is. He's hanging out in the shop.
that's it.
That's it. That's every dad needs his peace somewhere.
That's it. Yeah,
Dad's
absolutely.
shop. And he lets you come in there. That's a nice
That's it.
dad.
Yeah. Yep.
Let your brothers in there or no?
Yeah. Yeah. He'll let them in there too. Sometimes.
Gotcha. Now, were there pets growing up or no?
Yeah. I had one when I was like younger. Um,
Is there one
she-
now, or are we done with
I
pets?
do have a baby now here. She moved with me. I got her in Auburn, so she's just turned 4. We brought her up here. So she's a Tweenie Jack Russell mix. And she is my child. Love her.
What is her
Yeah.
name?
Adler.
Adler.
Mhm.
Adler. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Has
So
Adler
she
been in the
made the do it.
Has Adler been allowed in the Jeep?
Oh yeah, there's Adler hair everywhere in the Jeep.
That's funny.
That's great. All right, go ahead, Molly.
And then, so with the like national championship tournament coming up, how are you guys like preparing for that?
Just kind of staying on the same schedule. We practice, 5 days a week. We're always gonna have our small group stuff 2 times out of the week, and we're lifting 3 times a week. So we're just staying on the same schedule. Just kind of intensify it and just hone in on the small things that we're doing well. Just little bits of improvements, tweaks here and there. Just fine tuning at this point, just staying with the same routine and just hoping that we can just all come together and, establish our goal that we've set for ourselves.
What specifically would you say the team is really good at, and what are you guys really working on? Like, are you a fast break? Is it you're great at I watch the wheelchair when I can. I love the pick and roll. What the pick and roll in wheelchair basketball is awesome. It's just like the picks are just like it's not just a screen. The person is just stuck in the other way. You can't you like you throw a screen and the regular able-bodied. All right, you can run around them. You can literally run through them. But you throw a screen and wheelchair, that person's stuck. They're not going anywhere. They gotta move. What? Talk to me. What is something your team does really well? What's maybe something that they're working on getting better?
So offensively, I think we do a good job of seeing the offside, and we work a power side. So that way, they're sending everybody over. So we work very well with ball movement, from there to the offside and then the offside back to the middle. We kind of see whatever's open. We also do pretty well with seals. I don't know if
Is a
we talk
seal
about seals much.
a pick, or like a screen, or talk to me what a seal is?
Yeah, so say you have let's see, like 2 defenders here,
Yeah.
and you're coming around. So you're gonna have whoever you're width's coming around here, and you're following them. So these people are all sealed off. It's like a train kind of coming through straight to the basket. It's kind of like a pick and roll, but you have another person on on offense that you're following through. They're kind of like just making a path through.
Oh, it's almost like so football, it would be almost like a blocker.
Pretty much. They're just, pushing you through, and you're going to have somebody behind you that's going to nail you and like keep shoving you through to then get close to the basket. So that's a unique thing that,
So you got three players are part of that. There's the one in front is making the path, the one with the balls in the middle, and the one behind is pushing you through.
Yeah, it was just the 2 people. So like you can just have somebody pass that. You have the person in the front,
Okay.
the person coming behind them, and then somebody passes to that person and they shoot.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it. If you watched any of it, you've seen it happen at some point.
We watched a ton of the Paralympics. It was so much fun. Yeah, okay, I gotcha. And I'm gonna try to watch as much of the national tournament as we can.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be good.
yeah,
But let's see, defensively, um, we're pretty good at identifying who our threats are and really kind of getting out on them. What we're really working on right now is just getting faster at that. Getting faster when somebody comes off of like the offense person comes off, we're getting there immediately to stop them. They're not even getting an open space to even get a shot off. So right now that's what we're working on, is just getting faster with getting out on our threats to stop them from doing anything and making the lower threats shoot.
gotcha.
Mhm.
And then
That's good stuff. All right, go ahead, Molly.
you mentioned earlier that you had aspirations to be on the national team. I read somewhere that you've tried out 3 times, maybe less.
I think it's only been 2, I
2?
think.
Okay.
But I did just get an email last week. I got invited to the tryout again. So
Hey.
I'll be headed to do that in April. I think it's April the 12th through the 16th. So I'm excited about that and finally get back affiliated with that, making more connections on that side so I can
We
figure
know the
out.
coach.
Yeah, good to know everything.
Christina Schwab is the coach, isn't she?
Yes, sir.
She's on our board of advisors. I'll put in a good word for you.
Yes. She's great. So yeah, I'm excited to get to know her more and just, make those connections with those other athletes that have, played there, been there, get advice from them, get some mentorship. So
Overall, when you look at the ages of those players, you'd still be on the pretty young side. I know there's a few that are young, but there's some that, at least on the Paralympic team, they were not young. They were not in their 20s. Let's just go with that.
yeah, I would say if I were to, I would be, being 27, I'm kind of on the border of in the middle of like old, medium kind of thing. So
There were definitely more than a couple late 30s, we'll say. And
yeah,
late
maybe
30s
so. I'm not sure.
have their number starting with a 4. So yeah, I was in my late 30s for I think at least 15 years. So I miss those days. Here's an interesting question for you. So you mentioned mom and dad. Let's start with mom. You've been interviewed more than a few times. What's something your mom would love to be in this story? What's something that mom would say, hey, how come they never write this about my little girl? All right, they tell the story about the ATV accident and how she played basketball before and she's, a superstar now. But what would mom like in this story?
I don't know. That's hard. I don't
I don't
know.
ask these ones.
Probably just seeing, looking outside of the athletic side, just more of the like compassionate and caring side of me and how like the willingness to help others. And I would say more on that side and, connecting with others.
So give me some examples of that. I mean, we know that you're really part of what you love is the team and making the team better, not just making yourself better. You like the team, you like off the court team. You want to help people, like you help them academically. You're going to help them with life. You enjoy that. Give me some other examples of the compassion in helping others that your mom would point to or you point to that's been a big part of your life, which seems incredibly impressive given what you've gone through.
Yeah. This always kind of, takes me back to, so my undergrad is in physical education and just working with those kids, it just gave me another passion of just trying to be an advocate for, people with disabilities and the education system within schools. So like with me going out to, teach 4th, 5th graders, I even had to teach 7th and 8th graders, just seeing the difference with that and seeing how when I first came in, they all looked at me and they had this impression of what it was going to be like, but then after I left, they all really liked me and they liked the different aspects that I brought. So my biggest thing was just getting other kids with disabilities or something, different, or just something, a kid that's just different in general, more active and more involved and working with other people. Because, we've seen it that, in a lot of schools in PE, those kids that are different or with a disability or some kind of something, they're just kind of shunned to the side. They're not given any attention and, not really worked with. And that's just a big passion of mine. If I go into education, is just kind of, being more welcome to adaptive sports, getting, that knowledge out there. I think that would be nice to help.
So when you
the
were
kids.
teaching, talk to me about, so you were at Auburn and you, during that time, you were doing some teaching and you taught multiple different grades. Were they all disabled kids or no?
Oh, no, this is everybody, just general class, whatever comes through.
Okay. And
So
so
that
you were
was,
teaching them, and there were some kids that were disabled and some were not.
yep.
But some
So
kids weren't
it
all
was-
that athletic. I think that's what you were getting at. And they had whatever problems, whether they were physical disabilities or they had issues.
mhm.
And it was those kids that you really enjoyed assisting. Is that correct?
Yes,
I'm not trying to put
exactly.
words in your mouth. I'm trying to put words in my brain.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Just because, those are the kids that are used to seeing, the most popular kids, or the really athletic kids that the coaches are always, talking with them doing this. So like, I kind of reversed that and, my attention's faced this other way and, encouraging and, pushing them to get out of their comfort zone, because that's going to benefit them better and make them feel more welcome with their classmates, is what I think.
Are you able to bring that compassion, that desire to help? Were you able to do that? I could see you being able to do that, just me thinking, all right, she's a grad student, she's on Illinois, she's a veteran, she's coming from Auburn, she played with the guys. People on that team are going to look up to you. How were you able to help the players on Auburn?
How did what?
How were you able to were you able to use that compassion, that ability to help, that desire to help, to help the players on Auburn, other than just the obvious, which is, all right, there's a girl on the team, I better step it up?
Yeah, so I would say at Auburn's where it all kind of started for me. Believe it or not, like I used to be very quiet, very shy. Wouldn't say much. If I hit somebody with my chair, I was like, "Oh, my bad. I'm sorry about that." So being at Auburn and working through and then working with my degree there, I got more outspoken. I got more just encouraged to speak of what I was thinking and to help and kind of lead. So that's kind of where I was able to develop my leadership role. And I had a good mentor, Blake Lofton. I played with him at Auburn. And then once he graduated, I kind of was the one that took over. So I was one of the captains, and I'd be one of the ones that would, lead the team, bring the team together, giving reminders out. And that kind of all helped me kind of grow to where I am now when it comes to leadership and, just being that compassionate teammate that's there to listen, but also there to, help point you in the right direction. And so it's just been a unique opportunity for me to develop all that and then come here, totally new school, new people, and come in kind of quiet, and then kind of see where my role needed to be and kind of implement myself in that role. So I still kind of do the same things, encourager and just trying to help lead us and help us where I need to. So
Does that
kinda unique.
compassion come solely from mom, or does dad have a compassionate side too?
I'd say probably more so my mom, but yeah, my dad as well. Probably my dad is more this sternness, I guess, just being more like holding my ground of staying, in that. So, and then my mom, yeah, being more compassionate. I'm a good happy medium.
What would dad like in the article about his princess?
I don't know, probably like the same thing, I guess, is towards my mom. My dad's really quiet, so I really don't know what he'd say.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, Molly, what else you got?
And then, so what advice would you give to someone that's starting out, maybe playing a new sport or just playing wheelchair basketball?
Just to stick with it. The thing that I always kind of go back to is trust the process. It's not going to be easy. You're always going to have those moments where you're frustrated, you're mad, you just want to be like, it's just not for me. But just kind of sticking with it, pushing through, making those connections, and just believing in yourself in general. Like just believing that you have what it takes and you can push through and do whatever your goal might be.
All right, so let's flip that question a little bit. You had at one point said you didn't really think of yourself as somebody who is inspiring to girls, or that wasn't part of the plan when you were at Auburn, but you have played as a woman on a man's team. You are now the leader of a pretty darn good women's team. You just got an invite for Team USA to try out for that. You are an inspiration. I know a lot of the wheelchair athletes don't want to be looked at as an inspiration. Take the wheelchair aside. What you have done is inspirational. It just is. Put it just athletically. Played for a man's team. Leader of this women's team. And you got an invite to Team USA. Whether if that all stopped today, that's inspiration. That's impressive. What's some advice you would give to, call it like a high school girl who's struggling with whatever? Doesn't have to necessarily be a disability, but you're a high school girl. I have 2 teenagers. That's not an easy time for a dad. What is some advice you, as somebody with your stature, could give to some girls who might be going through some tough times?
I would say just, find your passion and find what you love and, put your time and put your effort into that and, making that what you want it to be. High school is kind of it's just an age where you're just trying new things. You're trying to figure out what you want to do with life. But I would say just, trying those new things, being open to new things, to new people, having a good support system. I think that's what's helped me so far is just having, people to fall back on, when I need to be, put back in my place, I have those people to do that. So, just having a good team around you, support system, whether that's family, whether that's friends, whatever that is. I just think that's huge. Because everybody needs somebody to talk to and, to hold you accountable. Everybody needs somebody to hold you accountable. So, just keep pushing through.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, Molly, what else you got?
I don't think I have any more.
All right, we'll get to the game in a second. I got to ask a couple other things. So maybe you've noticed, like Molly and I, our heads are like, we're trying to figure out what's the theme of this story going to be, because we don't want it to be another one. This person got injured, but now they overcome it. Isn't that great? I mean, we've written it, and we swore we were never going to write it, and we've done that. So I often ask the people that we're interviewing, give me something that we should have asked you that we didn't. Tell me something that you would like that to be in this story that we're too dumb to have asked. But add on that, like, if you had a choice, what would the theme for you be? And then we'll disappoint you when the article comes out.
I don't know. I think you asked all really good questions.
All I want is really good answers, though.
Yeah. So I don't know, and a theme.
Well, let's go back to what's something that we haven't asked you, maybe nobody's ever asked you, that you would like in this story. People focus on the accident. People focus on maybe, the basketball, but maybe they're not focusing on Adler enough. Maybe, or the Jeep. I haven't asked, do you have the big tires or the regular tires? What's something important about you that you would like in this article? I think the Jeep's important. You ride a Jeep, you get a Jeep, and you get that Jeep, and you see everybody waving at you, and then
Yeah.
you're either annoyed by that or you love it. And if you get a second one, you love it. I mean, I'm waving everybody. Sometimes I'm driving my wife's car. I forget I'm not in the Jeep, but I'm waving at people.
Right. uh I mean, I really don't know. I'm a very, very simple person. Um
You're
huh.
a simple person who's done a lot of stuff. I hate,
Yeah, I
again, to use that
suppose.
word inspiration, but what you've done, again, put aside the amazingness to everybody else of the hurdle that you got over. And I don't mean to diminish it by say got over, but you're a superstar. Uh, but is there something else? Like, you know, uh, do you play the ukulele on the side? I mean, is there something else that we haven't asked? We know you do the karaoke when you were at Auburn. Is there something else that we should be telling, like, that people don't know? Uh, do you write Star Wars fan fiction? I don't know.
I have recently gotten pretty big into puzzles.
Puddle.
Yeah, so
Does puddle stand for
um
something, or I'm thinking of actual water in puddles?
Puzzles.
oh no,
Oh,
like puzzles. Puzzles.
puzzles. All right,
Yeah. So
gotcha.
I've pretty much been doing one like every day, pretty much. They're
Yeah.
only like 350 pieces, so like it only takes a little while. But
Any
I think
teammates help you with them, or are those all yours?
that's just me at home with Adler right beside me, just chilling.
Does Adler help or get in the way?
Oh no, she just sleeps. But I think that's just my balance and my like relaxation of taking everything in and not have to really think. So I think that's like an important thing to have, especially after long days of
Yeah.
school, like managing everything, school and homework and practice and lifts. Like that's kind of my breakaway of, just relaxing and taking a moment just to be me and like chill. So I guess that would be that.
Nice puzzle. That's good. And
Yeah.
then, when you're like 80, you'll be all set. Like all those other people start doing puzzles, you'll be like, I've already done these.
Yeah, I'll just bring my whole
There
like
you go.
bag.
You got all the puzzles.
Ah.
That ain't bad. All right. I don't know how to touch on this. This is tough. There's been, and if this isn't something you want to talk about, that's okay. But your accident was not the only hurdle your family has had to go through, it appears.
You've done some research on me.
Did a little bit. I appreciate you calling it research instead of stalking. That's good. Take that. That's
You must
better.
have found my mom's page.
I saw that there was a fire at some point. So the big question is, did that fire touch the shop?
No, the shop came after all that. So yeah, I can't remember. I might have been like sophomore or something in high school. We had a house fire. It was a complete loss. After that, we ended up getting a FEMA trailer. We put it right down the land. So we were staying there while they were building the new house. Of course, went whatever, 2 years, something like that. Then I had my accident. And the crazy thing was, luckily, like I adapted well and pretty fast. through everything of what was going on with me. But not even a year later, so mine happened in August. Come around to July, I believe, is when my brother, younger brother Chase, he had his accident. So he was 15 at the time, I believe, but he had a brain injury. He was on a youth retreat. They were in Tennessee at some cabin, and they were playing pool. This is just a crazy story, so I'm just going to tell you because it's like insane. So he was propped up on a pool stick. You know, we all prop up on our pool stick when we're playing pool. Well, somebody came up behind him, did some kind of UFC move or something on him, and Chase went down, and the pool stick hit right here and went behind his eye in the back. So that was all crazy. And of course, it was in Tennessee, so we had to drive all the way there, and they were constant calls. They ended up, which is really fascinating. So they had to take half of his skull out so that swelling would go down. And so he was there forever. It was a scary time for all of us, you know, especially, you know, my accident just happened and he couldn't talk. Like, he was pretty much just there forever. I mean, he literally turned 16 in the bed. So, but he recovered well. We were very nervous about him, but he recovered well. You know, they eventually moved him back to UAB in Alabama, and cool thing is they shipped his skull with him and they put the skull back in. So crazy, fascinating, you know, medical things. But he's good now. He works with my dad actually. So he's a welder, does everything normal, just has a little bit of a limp, and his right arm's a little bit clenched. So he can't do anything with his right arm, but yeah, he still has 20/20 vision somehow. Like,
Wow.
Yeah, the family has just been through it, man. But I think overall, that's what's made us stronger in a sense of, you know, hurdle over hurdle. We were still together. We just came closer and closer. And, you know, here we are. We're all doing our own things and just trying to be the best.
So he was at a youth camp. Was that a religious camp of some kind, or was it?
Yeah, he went with a church group. He had kind of recently joined that church, and it was like a church retreat kind of thing.
Gotcha. So I don't want to delve too hard here,
Oh,
but
no.
is of importance to your family, or is that is there a religious part to your family?
I would say sort of. I don't like, we're not like super religious, you know, but you know, we all like believe in whatnot, but it's not, we're not like, we don't go like every Sunday. And
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. I'm Catholic mostly.
Yep. Me too.
Usually, occasionally. Okay, I got you. Wow, that's all right. So we will let you go in like 2 minutes here. We're gonna we want to play this little game, or did you have anything else you want to ask there, Molly?
I don't think so. Thank you so
All
much.
right, we are going to play the game that is sweeping the nation here, called "How Well Does Hanley Know?" First of all, I can't believe I haven't asked this, but how did you come up? How did you get the name Hanley? If
Ranley.
you Google the name Hanley, not
Ranley?
many Hanleys come up.
Ranley.
What's that?
are you saying Ranley or Hanley?
Ranley. R-A-N-L-E-Y. Yeah. Oh, so we're saying
Messing
I
with you.
got the accent now? Is that what we're saying?
I'm just, what, you're saying I have an accent?
Saying I'm not comprehensible.
Yeah,
That's all
so my name, yeah, is interesting. So my dad's name is Randy. My mom's name is Christy Lee. So they just merged pieces of their names.
So I will tell you this. My wife's name is Sarah. My name is Dave. And we have a daughter named Sadie.
Oh, I like
name.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, so same sort of thing.
That's awesome. There we go. All right. All right. Are you ready for this? We should have background music, but we do not. All right. How well does Ranley know Ranley? I will ask question number 1.
Oh,
If you could play any game other than wheelchair basketball, what would it be? You give me your answer, and then you explain why, and then I will tell you why you're wrong.
Any game. I'm not a big gamer. I don't know.
Just any, or it could be a sport. It could be, if you could be doing anything other than wheelchair basketball, and maybe other than puzzles.
I don't know. If I'm not doing that, then I'm usually with my family or something. So hanging
Doing
out,
something
hanging
with
out
the
with
family. All right. So the correct answer for somebody from I believe it's Horseshoes Bend,
horseshoe band. Yeah.
you'd be playing horseshoes. I mean, obviously.
Oh, I do like horseshoes.
There you can see, you don't know yourself. I'm here
Dang.
to help.
I used to be pretty good, actually.
Yeah, see, and I knew that. All right. All right, Molly, you can ask number 2.
And then what is your favorite color?
That one's hard. I usually say blue. I like black too.
Why
Probably blue.
Black? What color's the Jeep?
Black.
Black Jeep. So blue or black? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Correct color for someone who's gone to Auburn and Illinois would absolutely have to be orange. How do you not get orange out of that? Oh,
Orange and blue. Blue's in there, so it
blue's
kind of
in
works.
there. All right. All right.
That's a 50-50.
All
Give
right.
me at
Maybe we'll
least
give you
a
half
point.
credit on that. All right. What is your favorite style of leg wear, of pants? There is a correct
Shorts.
answer. What's that?
Shorts. I
Short.
wear shorts all the time.
Are you wearing them in Illinois these days?
I've wore it the entire time. Yep. And they
Wow.
don't like, they're not big fans of it, but I'm like, I don't know. I like shorts.
You like shorts.
Even in Florida, it doesn't get that cold up there, but I only wear shorts. And my friends are like, come on now, it's about 60 degrees. You're probably freezing. And I'm like, yeah, I am, but I don't like wearing pants.
Exactly. See, you got me. You feel me.
So the correct answer for Ranley as to her favorite style of pants would of course be Wrangler jeans. How do you miss that? You need to know yourself.
Oh my goodness.
All right. All right, go ahead with this one here, Molly.
Who is the best Clayton?
So I've come up with, there's a few Claytons out there. There's Clayton Bush, who's supposedly this famous Instagram person, Clayton Kershaw from the Dodgers. Clayton, I'm going to say his name wrong, Sabanos, he's an actor. And then Clayton Moore, I believe, was the Lone Ranger. Who is the best Clayton?
I don't know. The Lone Ranger.
That's not a bad answer. The best Clayton, of course, Ranley Clayton.
Oh.
How do you miss that? We don't know.
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
how she misses this. All right, last one. What is one thing you never ever say when you leave somewhere, when you depart? What is something you never say?
Roll Tide.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Never ever.
You got one right. There it is.
Yeah, that one. There's no way I can miss that one.
All right. Anything else you want to add? We kept you too long. I appreciate this. Molly, do you have her contact info?
Yes.
Is there a teammate you can connect her with so we can get a quote or something like that? Or your mom, somebody might give us another quote that we can put in this.
Like I could shoot them an email.
Or you
Okay.
got that?
Yeah, and I can, if I need to, I can send you my number as well, whatever's better. But
Okay.
yeah, I got your email, and you see like a couple of people. You want my mom, like you said?
One or two would be great.
Those.
Anybody that you think of. Somebody's gonna get, shell out the dirt.
I know, I'm kind of
That-
scared to let my mom do it, so that'd be interesting. But I will, just for you. I will get my mom.
All right,
Thank
that
you.
is fantastic.
So much.
And then who is the person that Molly connects with to try to get up some photos? We need to put together a beautiful cover for you.
My mom probably do that too.
Mom's got some
She's
photos.
got all the pics.
Okay. All right. That would be
Amazing.
great. And they're coming to Tuscaloosa this weekend.
Yes. Yeah. She's literally counting down the days on Facebook.
You know, if she gets us some photos from that, even that would be great too.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you
Well,
so
best of
much.
luck. So is this weekend? This weekend is Alabama, and then is it the next weekend is Nationals?
Yeah. So this weekend is Alabama. Then there's 1 week off, and then it's nationals.
Gotcha.
Let's see. The March 15th through the 19th.
Gotcha.
Exciting.
So how does the tournament work? I know there's 6 teams. I know they all get in it. And do you know how it works for the women?
I'm not quite sure because the men are there too, so they'll have separate games going on. I'm not really sure how the brackets
That should be
go.
televised.
If
There's
it's
just-
single, if it's double, I don't even know. I just go and play. I'm just do what I'm told. I'm just a nodder, like, okay, I got you. I'll do this.
That's great. I bet it's going to be a blast, and it's a shame it's not televised. But I think it's streaming, and there's no doubt I'll be watching it. All right. Anything else you want to add? What's the picture behind you? Is that
You know,
the house?
I really don't know. This might be the old Dres building here.
Okay. So it's not Dad's shop.
No, that's not.
No. All right. You are great. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
thank y'all. I enjoyed
Um,
it.
Nothing but the best. All right. Take
Thank
it
you.
easy.
See you guys later.
Bye.
You got it. Molly, good job.
Thank you.
All
And then
right.
I'll
So,
email her.
One thing to work on before I forget.
Yeah.
I know it's tough doing an interview with me because I jump in all the time.
No, you're good.
You got your list of you got your list of questions.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to do though is you ask a question, listen, and then ask a couple questions that deal with the answer.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's just something to work on. And then you kind of also have to kind of remember what she said, because then sometimes what she says will be an answer to your other
Another
question.
question.
So that only have you asked once about like team chemistry or something like that, and she had already answered something similar to that. And
Yeah.
that threw her off a little bit, but that's okay. But
At
really,
one point, my Wi-Fi, she's like, it kind of disconnected for a second. So I think that was probably when.
okay,
So.
not a big deal. No, but it is important. This is one thing. Like, if you're trying to get a job and you're trying to do interviews, they are going to want you to know that when you ask a question, you want to turn it into this whole thing should be a conversation.
Okay.
Again, it's tough with me jumping in and making a mess of everything, but you need to listen and ask 1 or 2 follow-up questions. She mentions her dad, get the dad's name. She mentions something, we gotta go off on that. You gotta dig a little deeper, and you can't just have your question, the next question, the next question. All right.
Yes.
All right. Separately, how's it going? Did you sent Matt the new revisions?
Yes, I put it when I sent you, like, he was CC'd on the email for
Wait,
the
okay, do this just so he gets it. Just say, just in case you don't have it, send it to me and Matt.
Okay.
Here's the link with my latest version in there.
Yeah. And then Mary sent me the
She got the Hebrew?
yes, and she sent it to me late last night. So I was checking my emails at midnight. So I shot it in and like created like a little blurb about it or whatever. And then she explained, she gave me the direct translation of it as well. So I put that in there too. So just in case. So that's also in there.
Okay. All right. That's great. That makes it a little bit more personal.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That is great. All right. So now you've got another one. I would immediately start reaching out to others. Say, hey,
Okay.
can I get an interview in a week or in 2 weeks? But so you're sort of ahead of the game now, right?
Yes.
You've got this interview already done. You've got another article you've got to work on, but
yes, I've already started working on that one.
You haven't told me what the topic is.
Oh, you said that I should do about the tournament, like
Oh,
the
okay, yeah, yeah, the upcoming
have it-
tournament, yeah, yeah. Like, so who looks good? Yeah, that would be good. It's more like a rankings, who you think is
Mhm.
going to, 'cause the pairings haven't come out yet,
Yeah.
but like who to watch out for. I think this team's probably gonna prevent, or maybe that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. Good job.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
All right. All right, so shoot me over the link for this when you can.
Yes. Okay. So I'll
Okay,
send it once it's done downloading to my laptop.
okay. All right, great job, Molly.
Thank
All
you.
right, take it easy.
Hi. Have a good day.
Bye. You too.